defining characteristic of a warrior is the willingness to close with the enemy.
It doesn't really matter what your job is. Everyone will do it.
I always want to be able to take care of myself.
We don't want to be on the ground.
Angles of attack.
It's not all about the fighting, it's more of a leadership school.
In gyms like this all across the country, there's been an explosion of interest in boxing and mixed martial arts. This mirrors what's been going on in the military since the late 1990s. The Marines have the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, or MCMAP. In the Army, the name is Combatives. Sometimes it looks like a mixed martial arts melee. Sometimes it seems to be a parade ground version of WrestleMania. Other times it looks like a good old-fashioned street brawl. Welcome to the All-Army Combatives Tournament, held every fall at Fort Benning, Georgia. These are the heavyweights.
He was a tough guy, you know. Took me a little while to get control of the fight, find out what he was trying to do. Obviously, he was trying to punch me in the face. So, got on top, got control, you know, did what I do.
What Sergeant Brandon Sales does, as the old sports cliche goes, crush the opposition. In this case, Staff Sergeant Benzel Vereen from Fort Sill, Oklahoma. The tournament has its share of cheap thrills for the crowd, not to mention the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. But even the toughest fought bouts end with gestures of sportsmanship. Here, it is about winning and losing. And Fort Riley, Kansas won the 2008 team championship. But beneath the competitive intensity lies the life and death purpose of Army Combatives.
People don't realize that, you know, we don't only do it because it's fun and it's great for morale and, you know, it's great competition, but it saves lives over there, you know, every day.
Saving lives over there starts in basic training. That's where new soldiers are first introduced to combatives. The elemental moves are called Level 1.
The people who come in the Army, they're just citizens. So how do we take the average citizen and inculcate them with that warrior ethos? The training has to be rough, harsh.
Basic training is also where competitions begin. The rules are much more restricted in this company tournament than in the All-Army. At Level 1, combatives most closely resembles conventional wrestling, guys grappling on the ground. It does get the adrenaline pumping.
You have to imagine what it means to be a warrior. It really comes down to this. The defining characteristic of a warrior is the willingness to close with the enemy. No matter how squared away someone is, what kind of skills they have, if they're not willing to go through that door where they think the bad guys are, they're not a warrior.
Simultaneously kicking at the foot.
This is level 3 training, and this is a normal day. Every day is different as far as techniques and progression goes, but this is what we do every day. We train soldiers in fighting techniques that we can apply to the battlefield.
Level 3 is taught in a 4-week course at the U.S. Army Combative School at Fort Benning, Georgia. For the first time, soldiers are allowed to fight standing up, although the primary strategy is to take your opponent to the ground. Students are also training to be trainers.
From here, I'm going to roll into him.
A Level 3 certification will permit them to go back to their home units and run battalion-level combatives programs. The full range of combatives incorporates techniques from multiple martial arts, among other combat styles.
You have your basic wrestling, you have your basic boxing, kickboxing, sanshou, we do judo, we do kempo, we do jujitsu, we do basic stick fighting.
The training is rigorous, with new moves and variations introduced every day. Some exercises are unarmed. Some include weapons, including sticks, rifles, and electrified knives.
Even if you're not going hand-to-hand with the combat, it's the mental and physical tools that you gain from it. You learn not to panic in tough situations, learn how to handle yourself and focus in tough situations, and you learn how to get out of them.
Students can miss no more than 2 hours of class time, so learning how to fight also means getting used to functioning with assorted bumps, bruises, scrapes, and worse.
I've dislocated a couple fingers, it busted up, bruised, black eyes, everything. It's level 3's serious. Got put into a submission hold, tried to work myself out of it, and elbow popped.
I got my nose broken last Friday. They told me to duck, and I decided to eat it instead, so it was my fault, but yeah.
I'm known for my kickboxing, so they told me when I got out there they wanted me to show my kicks, I guess, and I kicked somebody in the elbow and I fractured my foot in 2 places. It's actually really hard. It's hard to walk, it's hard to push off of and stuff like that, but that's just the way we train, you know. Got to do what you got to do, and I don't want to start all over, so.
There's always medical support on site, and careful safety precautions are in place. So the assorted injuries are no more than the inevitable side effect of the training.
This isn't a tough man contest. It's physically and mentally strenuous, but the whole point is to increase instructors and combatives in the Army.
Ongoing combatives training is now routine throughout the Army, and it's for everybody. Here at Fort Benning, a weekly combatives workout is part of the battalion officers' PT schedule. They drill under the watchful guidance of the instructors. In another quadrant, brigade officers work out.
What the Modern Combatives program does is it provides continuous training. It really sets the stage and teaches training methodologies and teaches people how to integrate it within their unit so that the training will continue.
Some Level 3 students will be getting to put their certifications to immediate use.
I'm doing this training specifically for going to train coalition forces in Afghanistan.
I had to get level 3 certified so I get back and train my guys up. We're getting ready for deployment.
I'm going to end up taking a lot of this knowledge to my unit, 162nd, Fort Polk, and initially be the first level 1 instructor for my unit.
Combatives can be adapted to a whole range of missions and situations. Airman Joshua Keel is a SEER specialist, SEER standing for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. He trains Air Force flight crews what to do if they ever get shot down or ditched, including the use of combatives.
If they actually get confronted by the enemy, or if they find themselves captured in a hostage situation nowadays, they might have to take it into their own hands to be able to overpower their enemy, and that's kind of what this whole MACP level means to me for the aircrew members that find themselves in the worst possible scenario.
Staff Sergeant Vern Grilliard is an MP at Fort Stewart, Georgia.
We just can't run into somewhere and shoot somebody, so we have to look at the lowest level of use of force that we can use, i.e. putting our hands on the subject and wrestling them to the ground, whether it be one-on-one at a domestic violence scene or whether it's two-on-one if I have backup.
I need you to throw some punches. Okay.
Sergeant Anisha Randall is now a drill instructor at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
For a lot of people that come in the Army that don't know anything about their ability to be fierce and go out there and handle themselves, I think this is great for them. The few times I was deployed, I worked with local nationals, and I didn't feel as comfortable, by myself. Yes, I did have my M16, but what if a situation came up to where I couldn't, use my M16 or I ran out of rounds or whatever the situation is? I always want to be able to take care of myself.
Keep drilling, guys. Talk yourself through it. Got to be able to go up there and teach it.
The Level 3 course teaches some soldiers they weren't as advanced as they thought.
No, you kept the ankle.
I showed up thinking I was at 90%, and I realized that I was probably more around 25. So I think I've come up to maybe 50%. But with the strong base that they've given me, I'll be able to bring myself up higher and higher, and maybe one day get to as good as I thought I was.